And welcome everyone to the Circle Debate Podcast, top 5 picks of the week here on Circle Debate. As the host of Devious One, I've been here alongside with my partner, my brother from another mother, mi hermano, the fellow four horsemen. Of course, he is Mr. 69, the 69 reasons, the 69 answers, and the 69 lessons that he's going to give you today. As we're going to give our top 5 picks of the week. And that is top 5 best commentators. One of the most difficult lists of all time. But go ahead.
Top 5 best.
This is a difficult list, of course, Mr. Matt Callis. And I think this goes for everyone here across the board. And it's incredible that we have gone this far to choose our top 5 best commentators. And this is a tough one. It could be either individuals or pairs, how I really like to see it. So, as a matter of fact, the one and only sent us his list while he's on the road. So, I'll read off his list first, and then we'll flip the coin, see who goes between you and mine. So, let's read off the one and only's list, top 5 best commentators. And we were going back to the past and to the present, ladies and gentlemen. There's no future, obviously. But, I mean, there is a future.
If we got time travel, my God.
Right? If we had time travel.
If it's time travel, then I pick you and me then.
Absolutely, yes. They don't really get top us for sure. So let's hear out the one and only Chris Kennedy's top 5, which he chose number 5. Good old JR. He went individual, all right? So he chose JR.
By God.
Now, this is the one that really got to me. He chose number 4, Eric Kloss. So I'm assuming that he is an MMA, most likely an MMA commentator. I don't know. I'm not familiar with his work, so I don't know who he is. So I'm going to just skip and not give my, I'm going to let Chris answer that one. Number 3, he chose, of course, the Weasel himself, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Chose number 3. Number 2, he chose the King of Memphis, and that is, of course, Jerry the King. Puppies! Jerry the King Lawler. And this is why I'm not surprised, because if you want to know who is number 1, of course, oh my God, Joey Styles. Of course, he's an ECW fanatic, and I'm not surprised he grew up watching Joey Styles, the one and only. Once he's back on tour, we'll ask him why did he chose Joey Styles as number 1 on his top 5. But I think we kind of answered it for him. Those are his top 5s, which I'm amazed that he chose Joey Styles number 1. But I get it, Joey Styles did sell a lot for ECW, and he was the heart and soul and the voice of ECW. So kudos to you, one and only. All right, now let's flip the coin to see who goes. Call it.
Tails.
Heads it is.
Ooh. So, do you want to go? You with the call since you won.
All right, I will go. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to mix it up here. I'm going to go with individuality and pairs. So I am definitely going to mix this up. Number 5. That's going to be Mike Tenay and Don West from TNA. Because I feel when they were part together in TNA, NWA TNA for the first time, just hearing Don West really reminded me of others, I will mention here. I'm not going to say it yet because that's why I put him as 5 along pairing these 2 individuals. Yes, I was never familiar with Don West's work at all in the pro wrestling industry at all until he was introduced in NWA TNA. Mike Tenay, we know his credentials back in WCW. Phenomenal, fantastic commentator he was. Along, with Tony Schiavone, and who was the other guy? Who was the other bald-headed guy? I forgot. There was one more that they had there. I forgot his name. I can't believe it. Maybe that's the one that Chris was talking about, to be honest. So, I mean, I have to see here. Who was it? Scott Hudson. There you go. You know, yeah. So that's the trio that it was, and then it was just only Tenay and Shivani. But I feel this combo here for NWA TNA and for TNA itself was a fantastic pair. I like how they both, both said, incredible storytelling for the stars itself of Impact and TNA. So that's my number 5. I have to go with that. I enjoyed that pair. Number 4. This is going to be a tough one for me. Number 4 will be, of course, Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura. I think that was a great combo for me. I like it, especially I think obviously the best monumental one for me that always sticks in my mind was, of course, WrestleMania 3. I can't believe it, Gorilla. He's gonna go pick him up. He's gonna give him all he's got, and he slapped him. When everything went crazy, and then it just gives me goosebumps when I hear that from Gorilla. And then especially WrestleMania 7. WrestleMania 6 actually. Move forward. Oh no, that was WrestleMania 3. Moving force. Then it was just Gorilla himself was a great storyteller and knew how to commentate it very well. And with Jesse alongside with him, it was that was your yin and yang for sure. I know I might get heat for it, but I enjoyed this a lot. Seeing this. And hearing them, especially, Jesse Bonaventura and Gorilla, because that was your original pretty much heel and face commentators for me that I grew up with. I mean, I know there's a lot more out there. We go back to the days like, World Class Championship Wrestling, the AWA days, NWA days. We go back to those times. But I feel that what I grew up in my era was with that. And I love Gorilla. He was one of my favorites of all time. A great storyteller. I think my inspiration, Matt, is really hearing him commentating is the one that I would love to get it, like kind of his style of storytelling. And when it comes to, telling of wrestlers in the ring, that's to me how I feel about it. Number 3, and I'm gonna go single on this one. And I'm going to go with, of course, the man himself, Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'm going to have to go with him. I think him with Gorilla goes great. I think him with Tony Schiavone and Mike Today was a great combo too. I enjoyed Heenan being everywhere. Heenan, of course, was a great heel commentator. He knows how to put people over. Oh, man, especially like in the WCW, how he put over Bill Goldberg, how he put over, how he told the story, how Hogan turned heel. Like, Hulk Hogan is a third man. He's a third man. Like, I remember that, like how
Bobby the Brain Heenan was, it's really underrated, his AWA days.
That too.
With Nick Bockwinkel Heenan, my God. I only started watching because you could have a manager with somebody who's good at talking, and it's just like, it's like a double, it's like 2 fangs of the snake.
Yes.
My God. Bockwinkel and Heenan.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that. My number 2, this is gonna be a shocker to everybody because I know it's gonna shock the world on this one. But it's gonna, I mean, for me, it's gonna have to be JR and Jerry the King Lawler. I know people are expecting him to be number 1, but don't get me wrong, JR and the King, always the greatest pair of all time. We could say they're the number 1. Of course, we could say that, but this is an opinion. This is my top 5. This is how I feel about it. Yes, listening to JR and the King, a great combo as well. They were the second generation of the Venturas and Heenan with Gorilla Monsoon. It was just, I love how they sold, storytelling. Then the King as well. Him being the major heel and JR was just getting annoyed. I really enjoyed that. Definitely enjoyed the combo, and it's an unfortunate now that two separate brands. King is now he's more with WWE, JR is with AEW, but hopefully one day we get to see them one last time together. You never know. What about JR wants to wants to retire one day? Hey, I want to commentate one more time, but with my best friend, my best buddy, Jerry the King Lawler, and you never know. Tony Khan can make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah,
anything's possible.
Exactly. I would love to see that. My number one, I know I'm gonna get heated for this shit, but I don't give a shit because I loved it because, man, and that is gonna be Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness.
I like it.
I think Paul Levesque did a fantastic job putting these two together. I think them two match. It's just like, it's just like when you're cooking a dish, it's like you're missing an ingredient. This is the one. And I think when Nigel and Ranallo, I know they had a third person. Who was the third person? Which I forget.
That's Phoenix.
No. It wasn't Beth Phoenix. Let me see. Let me see. I know there was a third man, but I know that a lot of people are not a fan of three-man commentating race, but I feel that Ranallo and just Nigel themselves was a great guys, a great duo. I don't think they needed anybody else. Just only them two. Oh, I think it was Percy Watson. Yeah, Percy Watson was with them. There you go. But I think only them two did great. Oh, Corey Graves too. I think Corey Graves. Yeah, was he or no? I don't know. He was.
Have you heard Mauro Ranallo and Dan the Mouth Lovransky together?
I heard yes.
And that was they did commentary for the Kenta Kobashi versus Jun Akiyama match, Pro Wrestling Noah.
And since you mentioned that, Lebowski is now with MLW, by the way. So Court Bauer, congratulations on picking up such an incredible commentator as Lebowski too. And I forgot all about him. And thank you very much for reminding me of that.
Lovransky and Ranallo are such an intense
great combo.
They were going insane during that match. Mauro Ranallo even said he even put that match above Stone Cold and Bret Hart. That's how he was going wild. So just listening to that alone is enough to make me want to watch that match.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely 100%. That's my number one on that one. I have three honorables. I know that I have three. I tell you, this is a tough list, man. This is really tough. My honorable on this one will have to be Kevin Kelly and Rocky Romero, New Japan. I enjoyed them too a lot. Kevin Kelly, another underrated announcer and interviewer that doesn't get his credits due. I know that they chose him over Michael Cole, and they put Michael Cole up there, and it sucks because Michael doesn't know much about pro wrestling more than Kevin Kelly. And it's true. And you don't believe me? Go to the experience, because Mr. Cornette will tell you. Mr. Cornette will tell you. So I mean, what happened?
Ivan, did you know that it's kind of a sad thing, but after Kevin Kelly left WWE, he was, he couldn't find work in the United States other than before Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Yeah,
he was just like working as a salesman in between. So I kind of felt bad, like him telling me that he really, like during that time period, he really deserved a lot more. That's why if we didn't have Excalibur now, I would have wanted Kevin Kelly doing commentary for AEW.
I agree.
He wasn't in New Japan.
I agree with that. I'm with you there. I think let's say that if Excalibur did not go to AEW, I think Kevin Kelly would have been a perfect fit with JR and Tony Schiavone. I think that's another perfect combo.
Yeah,
hell yeah. I'm with you 100% because I'm telling you, Kevin Kelly is underrated of his knowledge and his credentials. And That's why I liked him and Rocky, or even him and Barnett. I enjoyed that. It's even Josh Barnett is another one that I enjoyed too.
Ian Riccaboni and Kevin.
Oh, Riccaboni too. That's another one too that that is he just mentioned. He's on my list. So yeah, he's on my list. Yeah, Riccaboni's another one that is another underrated announcer that doesn't get his credit where credit is due. I like his work in Ring of Honor, man. Ever since he's been in Ring of Honor, man is incredible, man. I like it. I love it. I love it. In my last honorable, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna get shit for this, but I don't care. I don't think I am, and if I do, fuck off. Hey, this is who I like, who I enjoyed, and that is, of course, that man himself. He's he's a real mouse from the South because he is from, of course, Louisville, Kentucky.
Ooh,
that's right,
Louisville Slugger.
Yes, and that is Mr. James E. Cornette.
James E. Corny, you and me.
I enjoy Jim Cornette. He could be anywhere, even with his debut on SmackDown along with Michael Cole, his time as doing Sunday Night Heat, Shotgun Saturday Night, Ring of Honor when he did it, MOW. I mean, in Smoky Mountain, if you go back to Smoky Mountain, listen to his commentating days, man, the man, oh man. I know he gets so much heat for his opinions and the way how you can't change his mind of modern, to kind of indulge modern wrestling. And I respect his opinions, but his knowledge when it comes to professional wrestling overall and how to tell a story in the mic as a commentator, genius work, man. Genius work. I would have loved to have a dream commentating between him and just him and freaking Gorilla Monsoon would have been awesome. Or just him and Mauro Ranallo will be a great combo. Or even him and Kevin Kelly, when they done it before too. I believe they done it on Shotgun Saturday Night. Great combo. I mean, do I want to add a third one? If we could add a third one, I will add, Bobby the Brain Heenan or Jerry Lawler. I mean, shit. This is good shit. This is for me. Jim Cornette doesn't get a bat and throwing a curveball.
I got the curveballs. So here we go. So my top five, my first top five. So my number five, somebody kind of very special to my experience during the whole the Triple H reign of terror. I actually wasn't that big on just watching the product at the time. So my family had a black box and I watched TNA on the black box. So my number five, you gotta be kidding me, Don West. The funny thing is I was at Double or Nothing. So at Double or Nothing right next door was StarCast. And right there selling stuff at the table was Don West. So actually, I think I said one or two things to him. So I actually got to meet Don West for a few minutes. And I remember a lot of people were criticizing what his name escapes me, Alex Marvez for his commentary at Double or Nothing. And I just thought to myself, well, I mean, no diss to Marvez, but I actually would have loved Don West joining Excalibur and Jim Ross that night. He's just right there over at StarCast. He could have just walked on over.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, Shivani actually wasn't with AEW for a few months. So he actually, I think Shivani's first night was the first episode of the first episode of Dynamite. Shivani joined on board. Because, yeah, I think Golden Boy, it was like Golden Boy at Fyter Fest. And I think somebody else, maybe Shivani was at Fight for the Fallen or something like that. Mm-hmm. One of those events. So my number four, I don't have my glasses, but by if you're listening to my voice, I think you might know who number four is.
Mr. Coruscant. Don Calles.
It's hearing number 4. Of course, I say all kinds of ridiculous. There's actually a page on Twitter where you could hear Don Callis' voice and all his commentaries in New Japan with him and Kevin Kelly. And I think it was something about like a centerfold or some. It was like a dirty joke. It was like, oh, you need bigger paper. with Don Callis, he had so many funny moments. Or like, I think Yujiro showed up with Peter, and like a couple other girls, and Don Callis like, whoa, she's new. So I mean, Don Callis, he's so funny, and I wouldn't mind seeing him like more throughout the week at AEW. Like him, if it's like him, Excalibur, and Renee, I think that would be kind of an interesting team. Very different energy, My number 3, Mike Tenay. Was it? Did they call him the professor, or was it the doctor, or the teacher?
I think he was more like, let me see.
No, he had a nickname.
Yes, I know he had a nickname, but I never knew what the hell was it. I always forgot about it.
Like the great professor, the great teacher. I kind of love Mike Tenay. Is very knowledgeable about everything. I kind of like the more like his very analytical sense. Like I'd say Mike Tenay was Excalibur before Excalibur was Excalibur, because he's
the professor.
Yeah, the professor. He was very knowledgeable about just all the promotions, the indie scene, the underground, the old days, a great encyclopedia. And, Mike Tenay is still alive. He's a lot older now, way older. He's still alive. He's still with us. I wouldn't mind Mike Tenay calling just one match, because it's one thing. Because I mean, people in their 90s could still sit down, do interviews, and tell stories. Commentary doesn't require as much of the body, unless you're going like 100. Unless you're like Joey Styles and Mauro Ranallo, where they're always screaming their heart out. But I mean, much love to Mike Tenay. My number 2. Number 2 is actually who I want to base myself off of, who I want to be most like as a commentator, who I aim to emulate. And my number 2 is Kevin Kelly. I love Kevin Kelly's also deep knowledge of everything. He's and for some reason I feel just so comfortable when I listen to him. It's comfortable, but at the same time very drawn in and excited,
especially with this Bombo, yay! Like I just love how he says it. I'm like,
Destino.
Yeah, when he said Destino. Oh my god,
I love the way Kevin Kelly and the Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. Oh my god.
And that actually brings me to what my dream commentary team would be. These two guys have never been together. But my number 1, who I'd want to see sitting right next to Kevin Kelly, and this man, I've actually been a huge supporter of him since 2012. He, as a person, as an individual, as a human being, I admire him and everything he's done in his life. And that is Jesse the Body Ventura.
Wow.
As my number 1.
That's awesome.
I like him as I love him as a politician, like first and foremost. I kind of follow all of his political stuff. I'm not going to get too deep into what those are, but I've listened to all of his political talkings, and I agree with like about like 99% of everything Jesse Ventura says. I love, former Navy SEAL, much love to the service he's done for our country, as a Navy SEAL. Much love to, him as a governor, him as a mayor, him as an actor. He was in The Running Man. He was like Captain Freedom in The Running Man. And he lives in Mexico too, which is also really cool. He says in Mexico, he just goes up to random people saying cerveza, and everybody just smiles at him. That's how much I love Jesse Ventura, and all. And Jesse Ventura and Kevin Kelly would be such a crazy and fun and knowledgeable combo. I'm wondering what Jesse Ventura's reaction to all the Japanese talent would be. I know it'd be really fun, and Jesse's currently fighting for like unionization for wrestlers and all this other stuff, and just like equal treatment of everybody across the board. So I have so much love for him in every sense of the word, and his dramatics. He has such great dramatics, So
I agree. Okay, that's quite a bold statement choice, but I respect that. I love it.
So I think I've got a really different I've got a 5 honorable mentions.
Ooh, wow, go for it. Might as well.
So my number 5 for number 5, it's Eric Bischoff.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He did a great job with the 3-man team, and he's pretty decent with the 2-man team, and he's as a babyface commentator, I actually really liked him when the NWO was like bullying him. He really was able to get a lot of sympathy on him. I like him behind the desk. So Eric Bischoff is my number 5. Okay. Number 4, Larry Zabisco.
I forgot about Larry Zabisco. Damn good shit.
I got so much love. I think Larry Zabisco would be higher if it wasn't for my top 3 above him being so great. But I watched Larry Zabisco on TNA. I caught some of him on WCW. Larry is very, he really sells the plot emotionally, even him and Vince Russo had a pretty interesting rivalry, because like he was just like, I stand for truth and realness. You don't know anything about that, Russo. Well, the Zabisco, like I really feel him there.
Great choice.
My number 3, Terry Funk. I liked it when Terry Funk teamed up with JR, especially for Wrestle War and WCW.
Okay, Larry, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. What I knew it was WCW, but I thought for a minute you were talking about the Crockett era. Yeah, that's what wasn't
Terry Funk actually when he did commentary. Yeah, like JR said that next to Jerry the King Lawler, his other either number 2 or at least tied with Jerry. He said Terry was his favorite guy to work with.
Interesting.
Sit next to. And I know seeing the recent interview of Terry Funk just on for FMW, I know that Terry could still probably do at least like a couple of matches on commentary pretty well even today. Because he was able to show attitude and flick the camera off, and so if he could do that, I think he'd be great on AEW commentary. Please, that's one of my Christmas wishes. One of the things I want to see while Terry Funk's still with us, him to do commentary with AEW. Okay. My number 2 guy, originally I had Joey Styles picked, but I think I'm switching him out. My number 2 is Dusty Rhodes.
Oh shit, you're right. Dusty Rhodes was not a bad commentator. You're right about that.
I still remember the line right after the NWO debut. He was just like, I'm just being facetious, is what he said about NWO. He gave NWO a compliment and says, I'm just being facetious. So he really sells a lot of the angles. I feel kind of the tragedy. I feel the tragedy being sold to me through Dusty's voice. So I really feel him, on commentary. So
okay.
I feel the drama. So my number 1 honorable mention, Gordon Solie.
Yeah, that's what I'm with you in that. Gordon Solie, yeah. He was actually a great commentator. It was.
And Jerry, JR really gave a lot of love to Gordon.
I think he mentioned it because if it wasn't for Gordon, he would not know what he's known today.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Gordon Solie. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And Damn, that's going way back. So yeah, kudos. I commend you for that.
I remember, was it Gordon Solie announcing Triple H to the ring when Triple H was terrorizing?
Yeah, I think so. I have to go back. I really don't recall, to be honest with you.
There's terrorizing over there, you know, or he might have been interviewing him or something like that. It's like we got terrorizing coming from France over here, and then Triple H is like, I didn't even know how to speak French. I was just doing my best Inspector Clouseau impersonation. And like people in the comments like, man, Triple H sounds like a Jamaican dude trying to be French. Of course, no one knew that I was terrorizing. And I'm like, what? It's the funniest thing ever when Triple H says, like, yeah, I never even had accent lessons. I was just doing my best attempt at a French accent because I am terrorizing my friend.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna have to add, because I'm forgetting two people. One pair that I did enjoy, and then I'll put it individual. One pair I did enjoy is Vampiro and Matt Striker, Lucha Underground.
Ooh, with not AAA, right?
That's Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
so yeah, I enjoyed that pair. And Matt Striker is another underrated, even though he's doing great right now and in Impact right now with D'Lo Brown. But Matt Striker too, he took a long time. He learned from WWE when he was in WWE doing NXT. He did SmackDown. I think
that was Matt Striker. Could it be? It is.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
And of course, Vince McMahon. I might have to ha ha. Of course.
Vince really screams at it. So he's on that Joey Styles, Mauro Ranallo. If you get Joey Styles, Mauro Ranallo, and Vince McMahon, you probably won't be able to sleep that night.
No, because us are going to be thinking about, dreaming about, like, it's like I hear voices.
The three guys scream at you the entire night. Those would be the guys. I mean, JR would be like, JR kind of yells quite a bit, but not as much as those guys. Oh my God, it's Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. Oh God.
Oh man, yeah. What a ride! Oh my God, man, I just love it. Oh my God,
Monday Night Raw.
Yes, Vince McMahon. It's a great. Yeah, he had that high-pitched voice, like that scratchy, high-pitched voice. So yeah.
When he was younger, it was so much like clearer. And I think I'll give you here's a quick 69 history lesson real quickly. Wrestling commentators, if we knew enough about wrestling commentary from the 1920s up into the 1970s, I think we'd have a lot more people. But the thing is, a lot of the people back during the 20s up until the 40s all sounded the same, because back then microphones picked up certain frequencies a lot better. So there was an accent they used to teach people in schools called the Mid-Atlantic accent, and that's kind of like Quagmire from Family Guy. That's actually the Seth MacFarlane's impersonation of the Mid-Atlantic accent. So everybody would have to, all the wrestling announcers back then, and everybody on radio would have to use that same voice. You see 25 knots, I'll see,
Wise guy.
Like if you and me were doing wrestling commentary, we'd sound like, coming in at third place, got him in a headlock. It's got
like kind of like the old school, going back to the 1900s when it comes to like boxing, baseball, and even pro wrestling at the time. Coming in a third,
Just imagine if Undertaker threw Mankind off the cage. Undertaker throws Mankind off the cage. Oh my God, he's thrown through the ring. Like it's just Stone Cold with the Stone Cold Stunner retains the championship for a quick win, real quick tonight or Monday Night Raw. Mid-Atlantic. I can only imagine, just imagine both you and me having Mid-Atlantic accents, because people even talk like that in everyday life. I think President Franklin Roosevelt only had it a little bit, but at the same time, his voice was deeper.
Yeah.
So Only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Mm-hmm. CM Punk.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. I mean, this was a difficult list, ladies and gentlemen. Very difficult, but great. Mentions, honorary mentions that we mentioned. Matt and myself, but man, this was a tough one. If you have your top 5, commentators that you feel like you enjoyed listening to by watching professional wrestling, comment right below. We would like to hear your feedback of your top 5 best commentators. I'm curious to know. So let us know, and don't forget to subscribe right at the end of the video. Now let's go to the wheel of picks to see what's the next. We're gonna choose, make it 3. 3 less a charm to see what's the upcoming 3 that we're gonna be picking. So let's go to the wheel and let's see what's gonna be the picks. Here we go.
See this?
Yes. Here we go. Spin that wheel.
I bet $20 on green. We're playing roulette. Oh, I lost $20. No, I'm just...
Triple threat matches. Okay.
Woo-hoo.
So top 5 triple threat matches. Okay, I'm writing them down because I don't want to forget. All right, so that's 1. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Spin that wheel.
Yes.
TNA champions.
It brings back so many memories. Ivan, quickly, is there a distinction? Are we doing Impact and TNA separately, or is this all kind of like TNA, Global Force, and Impact's kind of we're rating it as one thing?
We can rate it as all one thing.
Okay.
We can do that.
So this is like TNA, Global Force, and Impact.
Yeah, we can do that. Or we could just do TNA.
I think we could do one thing since it's already,
Yeah, okay, we'll do it all.
Yeah,
right.
It kind of would probably have to really look back in like the cutoff time. Like it kind of goes back and forth between the two. It's like it was TNA, but the show is Impact, and then it kind of gets,
Well, yeah, remember it was NWA TNA, then TNA.
Yeah, I know it's NWA TNA too. Okay. So I don't know if we're including the NWA period as well.
Yes,
so,
we have to include that.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's do the last one. Let's see the. All right. Oh,
yes.
Hardcore champions.
And of course, we're also including WWF as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our top 5 picks of the week. Upcoming 3 are coming. Oh my God, it's good shit. Just good shit. Good shit. Oh my God, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very, very interesting. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up for the other upcoming 3 top 5 picks, but we can probably go through some curveball to you that you guys will be like, what? But yes, stay tuned for that. So don't forget to tune in here, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button right below. Hit the subscribe button. Get your ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
That's right. And to tune in to our wonderful content that we provide you here at Circle of Fate, and also to our audio platform listeners around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in here. As I'm this devious one, Ivan C, here with my hermano, the Mr. 69 himself. And enjoy your Sunday. And of course, I'm gonna let Mr. 69 Callis give you 69 specific, detailed reasons of what we do here on the COD.
We don't make podcasts. We make carbonara.
There you have it.